Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting the solemn ceremony of the inauguration of Vladimir Putin as the President of the Russian Federation. The national flag of the Russian Federation and the President's standard are brought in. We can hear the march and we can see the flag and the standard. It's one of the two official insignia of the presidential power. It's stored in the office of the leader of the state. It is being carried across all the three halls, St. Andrews, St. George. The Grand Kremlin Palace is the point of attraction today. It's a official residence of the head of state, and all the solemn ceremonies are being held there. The receptions and, of course, the inauguration itself, as well as many other events. The colors of the Russian flag, and you can see the coat of arms of Russia in the center. And on the silver part of the flag, the president's name and the dates of his presidential power are engraved. And we can see the standard above the first building of the Kremlin, the working residence of Vladimir Putin's. And please notice the uniform of the soldiers, because it brings together a few periods of the Russian history. It reminds the Patriotic War of 1812. The soldiers must be in sync, and the rehearsal starts long before the actual ceremony that allows them to move in sync. And now we can see the soldiers entering the St. Andrews Hall of the Grand Kremlin Palace. It is here in the St. Andrews Hall where Vladimir Putin met with his supporters after the elections were over. But winning the elections is only the beginning of all those victories that Russia so much requires now. St. Andrew Hall is the main Emperor's Hall of the Moscow Kremlin. And Alexander I, who ordered to build this hall, wanted to dedicate it, to devote it to St. Andrew, in whose honor the First State Order of Honor was established. To get a closer look at the Constitution, it shows the coat of arms of the Russian Federation, and it is stored in the President's administration's library. It is the only copy that is only used for this very occasion. The head of the Council of the Federation of the Federal Assembly of the Russian Federation, Madam Valentina Matviyenko. The head of the State Duma of the Russian Federation, Vyacheslav Volodin. The head of the Constitutional Court of the Russian Federation, Valery Zorkin. And we can see the heads of the both chambers of the parliament and head of the constitutional court. Ladies and gentlemen, please look at the screens. We are minutes away from the President of Russia being sworn in office. Now you can see the office of the head of state, and Vladimir Putin has just received the signal that everything is ready in the Grand Kremlin Palace, and we can recognize his office from the news items. The president has several minutes before he will enter the halls of the Grand Kremlin Palace, and we can see the head of state holding a document that he is looking at attentively. It is in this office there is a table where the head of state regularly holds meetings with the ministers and with the other officials. You can see it on the right-hand side of your screen, and that's the reception room. And now the corridors, the halls of the highest Russian power, the first building of the Kremlin. That's where the president's apartments are, and it's a small part of the building. You can divide it into two halves, the working part and the official part. The business part, working part, consists of a number of rooms, and the room where the Security Council is holding its meetings, a library. On the second floor, there are meetings for the working meetings and for the official solemn meetings. Everything looks quite simple, and you can see a lot of paintings on the walls, and we saw telephones used for special communication. You can see here FSO officers greeting the president as he is walking along the corridor. And a few minutes later, and Mr. Putin will be taken in his motorcade to the Grand Kremlin Palace to be sworn in as the president. The ceremony will start in a few minutes. The heads of the both chambers of the Federal Assembly and the head of the Constitutional Court are waiting, expecting him there, and 1,500 of guests that came to the Kremlin to witness this milestone event. I guess everyone feels nervous, somewhat anxious when you watch this, because that's truly an amazing and exciting moment and a solemn moment. And it's not that you have a chance to see the Kremlin's corridors every day, to watch the president walking from one room to another, leaving his residence and moving on to another building of the Kremlin. And Vladimir Putin's apartment is also here. And as the spokesperson of President Putin said, Mr. Peskov, Mr. Putin spent a lot of time there since the beginning of the special military operation. So Vladimir Putin is walking down the stairs, and a few minutes later he will get in the car and be transported to the Grand Kremlin Hall.
Please note how the presidential regiment troops salute the head of the state. So Vladimir Putin is exiting Building 1 of the Kremlin to join the motorcade. And now it's time, I think, we told you about one of the biggest innovations of the ceremony, the restyled Aurus presidential car. Some things have been told about it in the news, but now it's a great opportunity for us to take a look at the new car with a restyled front grille, a lightweight hood, and updated 360-view cameras, updated stereo system, upgraded brakes, and slight tweaks in the transmission. So now the Aurus is driving through the ceremonial arch of the presidential palace. So this model of Aurus was introduced 6 years ago during the first inauguration ceremony. But innovations don't end here. For the first time in the presidential motorcade, we see Aurus motorcycles, that they are completely electric-driven, adjusted for low temperatures, comes in handy at temperatures like this. They take less than 4 seconds to accelerate from 0 to 100, and their max speed is 225 kilometers per hour. Well, now they're driving much slower, as dictated by today's ceremony. So the ceremony is, the motorcycle is called Aurus, Merlot. So it stems from 2 words, Aurus, which is gold, and Rus means Russia. Now they're driving past the Tsar Bell. A couple words on the weather, which is not favorable today, but still doesn't stand in the way of the ceremony. Those raindrops on the lenses of cameras, TV cameras installed across the Kremlin, decorated with Russian flags. So now the motorcade is driving up to the Kremlin Palace to be greeted by the commandant of the Kremlin Palace. Now you can see the number plates of the presidential vehicle, and the headlights are LED matrix type. So the president is greeted by the commandant of the Kremlin Palace. Comrade President of the Russian President, Commandant of the Moscow Kremlin. Pay attention to the greeting. Comrade President is a homage to the Soviet traditions. Now the President is walking up the famous parade stairs of the Grand Kremlin Palace. The orchestra is playing the piece written specially for the ceremony. 66 stairs lead the president to the famous Avant Hall. Troops of the presidential regiment track the president with well-practiced movements. In a few seconds, we will be seeing the president in the parade halls of the Grand Presidential Palace. Counted minutes left before the inauguration ceremony of the President of the Russian Federation. Now you see Sergei Prosekin's painting, who comes with us with a sword, will die from a sword. It depicts Alexander Nevsky's victory on Chudskoye Lake. So with all the magnificence of the Kremlin Palace, see how modest and humble is the entrance used by the president. So when this palace was designed, its chief architect, Konstantin Ton, wanted to put this parade stairs in the middle of the entire building, and this was the only way the porch could be organized. So very soon, the official ceremony of the presidential inauguration will begin. All eyes on screen, please. We're broadcasting live from Moscow. Vladimir Putin. So the head of the state is now in Georgievsky Hall in all its splendor. The hall is named after the Saint Martyr the George. established by the order was established by Catherine the Great in 1779. So Vladimir Putin is greeted by everyone invited to the inauguration ceremony. Government members, State Duma deputies, Federation Council members, judges, and members of the sports and culture elite. And we see lots of service people. A lot of special military operation participants have been invited. This is the way to pay homage to them. They should be treated as heroes. These are the words of the President of the Russian Federation. There are a total of more than 2.5 thousand people in the Kremlin Palace. We can see now, we could see Vladimir Putin shaking hands with Dr. Roshal. So, Vladimir Putin shaking hands for the chairman of the Constitutional Court, Valentina Matvienko and Vyacheslav Volodin. In accordance with Part 2 of Article 88 of the Constitution of the Russian Federation, upon taking office of the President of the Russian Federation, the President gives the presidential oath according to the text laid down in the Constitution. Mr. President, please take your oath. In performing my duties as the President of the Russian Federation, I pledge to respect and protect the rights and liberties of every citizen, to observe and protect the Constitution of the Russian Federation, to protect the sovereignty and independence, security and integrity of the state, and to serve the people faithfully. Vladimir Putin has taken the office of the President of Russia.
A speech by the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. Citizens of Russia, ladies and gentlemen, friends, in these solemn and responsible minutes of being sworn in as the President of Russia, I would like to cordially thank the citizens of Russia in all the regions of our country, citizens of our historic land who stood for their right to be with their motherland. I would like to bow down to our heroes, soldiers of the special military operation, to all those who are fighting for their homeland. Once again, thank you for the trust you put in me and for the support you gave me. I would like to address every citizen of Russia now. I have just read the oath of the presidential pledge. Its text reflects the highest mission of the President of Russia: to serve our people, to protect Russia. I understand it's a great honor, great responsibility, and sacred work. That's what I was trying to do in the previous years of my presidency. And in the future, too, the interests, the safety of the people of Russia will be my highest goal. Consolidated will expressed by the millions of people is the great force. It shows that we will make our future, our destiny by ourselves, and no one else will do this. Only ourselves and the future generations. We, citizens of Russia, reaffirmed the right path we are on. And it is especially important now when we are faced with the serious challenges. I understand that we all share these important goals: the willingness to stand for our choice, our values, our freedom, and national interests. I'm confident we will walk this difficult period with dignity. We will become even stronger, and we will implement all the long-term plans and large-scale projects aimed at achieving the development goals. I'm confident that the support of the centuries-old family values and tradition will bring our organizations together, all the political parties together, all of us. The decisions that we made to develop the country, to develop the regions, must be efficient and fair, must increase and enhance the welfare and life quality of the Russian families. We are open to strengthening good neighborly relations with all the countries that see Russia as a reliable and honest partner. And I'm speaking about the global majority. We do not refuse to engage in a dialogue with the Western countries. It is up to them to try to hinder the development of Russia, to go on with their policy of aggression, of the ongoing pressure on our country, or they will rather look for cooperation and peaceful relations with our country to discuss strategic stability and safety. This dialogue is possible, but not from the standpoint of arrogance and exclusivity, but only by respecting the interests of each other. And we will work with our partners, with other sovereign centers. We will continue to work to establish the multipolar world order, the equal and indivisible system of security. In the world that is rapidly changing, we must be self-sufficient and competitive. We must open new horizons for Russia, as it happened throughout our history on many occasions. And we must not forget about the tragic price of all the inner chaos. So our system must be strong and resilient to any challenges and threats. It must ensure gradual development of one country, of the unity in the country. But we must not stop because we want to be stable. We must be flexible. We must continue to make progress, to move forward. We can see how the situation in the society is changing, how reliability, mutual responsibility, sincerity, honor, and courage are appreciated in today's society. I will make everything to make sure that the people who showed their best qualities, who proved how loyal they are to their motherland, took high offices in the country, in all the areas and in all the fields. We must think about many years to come, dozens of years to come. We must raise new generations that will strengthen the strength of the country. We must develop the multi-ethnic ties to preserve all the ethnicities living in Russia, to develop the civilization united by the Russian language and our multi-ethnic culture. Friends, I will do everything that I can, everything that we need to win your trust, to prove you right. And I would like to underline the outcome of this work largely depend on our unity and our consolidation. It depends on our desire to be useful for our homeland, to work hard, because we are now responding to our 1,000 years history, our ancestors who made sacrifices, who were gaining a lot because they were thinking about their homeland first of all. And to achieve high goals, we can only if we stand together with our country, with our people. And that's how they build the great superpower globally. And their feats, their accomplishments inspire us today. We look into the future. We plan our future. We are planning and implementing new projects and programs that will make our development even faster, even stronger. We are united in great people, and together we will overcome any obstacles. We will implement everything that we have planned. Together, we will win. It's a song by Mikhail Glinka from Ivan Susanin of 1836. It's an amazing composition. It sends a strong message of optimism. And now we can hear cannons fire to honor the inauguration of the president. It's a solemn march that was also played on June 24th in 1945 in honor of the great victory, when the military orchestra of 1,400 musicians were standing in the middle of the Red Square, and they were playing this piece, they were singing this song in honor of the Russian people.